Big stuff for Tokon. So this is not technically Evo, although it happened because it happened a little before. But we got a full gameplay reveal. Sorry, yeah, basically they put out this beginner's guide to Tokon, which went over all of the I think all of the core system mechanics and the way that the game works. We also got some some nice graphics of the character move sets and their breakdown and stuff. So initial reactions to the Tokon gameplay. Wow, this is a very Team Blue game. So if you aren't familiar, Arc System Works breaks down its fighting game developers into two teams. Team Red, which is basically Daisuke's team, and Team Blue. That's traditionally been the division. So Team Red always generally works on Guilty Gear, but Team Blue was initially like Mori's team doing Blaze Blue, and then Mori left, and Blaze Blue's kind of over. They did BB Tag, they did Persona 4 Arena, so all the sprite-based stuff, that was them. And then at a certain point, I think that they just decided it would be better to get everybody on board with the 3D style. So they are also responsible for Gran Blue. Gran Blue also has certain things that are sort of gameplay homages or ideas carried from Blaze Blue. There's a blue connection there. I'm not sure about Dragon Ball FighterZ. I was actually digging through the credits for various ArcSys games, and it's surprisingly hard to find, like, oh yeah, this is the team that always, these are the names that always do these things. There's a lot of shuffling around, especially when you get into the Dragon Ball FighterZ, I think like post BB Tag world. I think FighterZ it seemed like sort of a mix of teams. DNF Duel, which was not fully an ArcSys developed game, but they provided a lot of support, specifically with animation help. That seemed to be there's like a shuffle around gray area with that, but Tokon seems very much like a Team Blue game. 4-button fighter. One of those buttons are actually a 5-button fighter. So light, medium, heavy, and then U for unique. Unique is essentially the same thing as the unique button in Gran Blue, which was kind of the same thing as the drive button in Blaze Blue. One of the things, I've gotten a little more experience with Gran Blue. I've played it at my locals with a friend of mine, and it's a cool game. It's a bit of an acquired taste, probably not something I want to dump a bunch of time into, but I can enjoy it, and there's some fun characters. Gran Blue did not, one of the things it sort of spiritually succeeded Blaze Blue with the unique attack thing, where the idea is every character has their regular normals of the light, medium, and heavy, and those fulfill just basic functions, but the unique was always some kind of special ability they had, some basic part of their moveset that's considered like a core tool that they have that isn't a special, but it's a core part of them. It doesn't go nearly as hard as the drive button in Blaze Blue, where every single character in that game has a unique system and often mechanics that are tied into their drive button. Some of them are a little simpler than others, but they can get very complex, and a lot of them do. Gran Blue is typically just like, this character has an armor reflect thing. This character has a thing that he can throw out. This character has, I'm trying to think, like a charge attack. I'm sure some of them get a little more unique. I'm not fully familiar with the whole cast. I think there's that one puppet character, or there's like 2 puppet characters. Some of them use it to control other things on screen. So that's definitely, there are some characters that where it's a little more fleshed out. But by and large, the U button is obviously similar, and it's totally carrying on the legacy of the drive system from BB, but not exactly. So Tokon uses the exact same thing, where every character has light, medium, heavy, a unique, which is, it seems, I don't know, they seem like they were going, from the characters we've seen so far, some of them are, yeah, they feel like a little bit like special moves that are put onto a button, which I think is kind of cool. Some of them, like Star-Lord, essentially switches stances of all these different elements that he can load into his gun. Storm, oh my god, Storm is just Rachel. Storm is literally Rachel. She has these projectiles she can put out, and then her U button controls the wind. She has stocks of, it's literally the same bar. It's the same UI. Rachel has the meter that builds up, and then you can spend a bar to make the wind blow in any direction. And it will move both players as well as any of Storm's projectiles on screen. So you can toss out like the ice ball and then make it go down to the ground and then forward again. And I saw people getting mixed up with that. That was neat. Yes, she's just Rachel. What were some other ones? Doom has an Aegis reflector. I think it's Aegis. I think that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. An Aegis reflector. That should be if it's Latin. Who else? What were the other playable? Oh, Captain America had the shield toss. So yeah, like, and there's some cool stuff he can do with that where he can bounce it back. I don't know how many times he can bounce it back, but it looks cool. So every character has this one button that's a little more, it's tied into a unique aspect of themselves, which I think for a superhero game is a great idea. It's a great idea. And then from there, I'm not going to get into all of it, but it's just a smorgasbord of mechanics from previous ArcSys games. I can see some people finding it a little overwhelming if you're trying to comprehend every system mechanic that is in the game, but if you've been playing ArcSys games for a while, a lot of it will feel familiar. Even the tag stuff. That feels like a combination of, you know, stuff from BB Tag, stuff from fighters, and there's also some new stuff, which is cool. So the 5th button is the assemble button, but it's the assist button for brevity's sake. So the assist button is used for a bunch of things that you would probably expect it to be. For calling your assists, for tagging into your other characters, for using a button, for using a bunch of mechanics. Use the tag, the assist button, and the tag feature. There is a unique bar. There's 2 bars. One of the, oh my god, dude, like there's so much. You've got like a regular super bar, which fills up to 150. Kind of like Persona, actually. Kind of like P4A. And that's used for supers and EX specials, which are just the heavy versions, which, again, that's a Grand Blue thing. There are... Ooh, lost my train of thought. And then there's the assemble gauge, the assist gauge, essentially, which is used for calling assists and doing all the assist stuffs. This is more of an assist game than it is a tag game. There's definitely tagging, but... oh my god. There's definitely tagging, but the tagging is... It's a reward for... It's a little more specific. You have to use it in more specific situations, and you kind of have to set up for it. There's certain times where you can't just cleanly tag into another character. There's definitely a delay on it. We have some more gameplay from, like, I think it's dev footage, and there it definitely looks a lot more, there's a lot more tagging going on, but the game is definitely designed around being assist heavy, because it's in a funny way, despite being so visually busy with 4 characters and all these mechanics and stuff going on. It seems like a pretty friendly game. So, unlike most other tag fighters, instead of each character having their own health bar, you have a team-wide health bar. You only start off with 2 characters. Your point character and then 1 assist. Your first assist, which is always going to be, they call it the shoot type. So some kind of projectile or long range attack. The second one is like an anti-air, and the third one is whatever the character's unique attack is. And you have to perform certain functions in order to progressively unlock your team. This is the very new stuff that I find interesting, because I've never seen another tag fighter do this. So things like getting the stage transitions, just like in Strive, getting your opponent in the corner, they said, like doing certain things in the corner, I believe throwing them as well, can unlock your additional characters, which will itself unlock more bars of the assist gauge. You only start out with 1. It's as many characters as you have available to you. So you only start out with 1 character, and the characters themselves, a lot of the gameplay kind of just looked like if you want to, you can totally just pick the 1 character that you like and then 3 assists, and then you don't really have to switch out. You don't really have to tag out. A lot of the characters feel like at a baseline, they are kind of self-sufficient. Whereas, like, when you play a game like Marvel 3, for instance, a lot of characters in that game require assists to kind of function well. They have clear holes in their gameplay or in their game plans, and you need to sort of cover them up or complement them with assists. Tokon definitely definitely has that. With only like 4, every character has like 4 special moves. You're not going to be able to cover all of your bases. Not every character is going to be a master of all. But the ability for you to just pick up, also the auto combos. Like the auto combos seem fairly rewarding, at least in this early build of the game. You can mash the light attack button and get a big flashing team combo that also happens to use a lot of your assist, like your whole assist gauge. It's definitely a game where I think they learned this from Dragon Ball FighterZ, because I believe some of the mechanics like auto combos worked out for a lot of players in that game. That game did very well, and I do think that they're taking a bit of an inspiration from... Actually, no. They're not taking an inspiration from modern mode. Grand Blue came out first because they've got quick specials. So there's like... There are motion inputs that do more damage than the quick input versions that are just a direction. Okay, cool. They took that from... They actually took the damage thing from Street Fighter. In Grand Blue, besides the cooldown of the move being almost instant, there is basically no other benefit to using the full motion. Although the cooldown is definitely important. So there's a lot of like easy operation, what's the word? Tools? Options? For a newer player who might be a little bit intimidated by all of the nonsense going on. There's the quick specials, there's the auto combos, there's the fact that you're only starting out with 1 assist. So you're not immediately like, you know what the other thing is? I think mentally, when you play a tag fighter and you aren't comfortable with 3 characters, whatever, you might only kind of like 1 so far. there's this feeling of like you get your point character knocked out and then you have to play two other characters that you don't like or that are you're not good with. You don't feel confident with them. And that just kind of, I think for a lot of new players that just feels bad. So the fact that if the point character gets knocked out, that's just the round, and they compensate for that by it being first to 3 rounds. So it's basically you do have to kill 3 characters in total, but it could be the same character each time. Also, here's another little thing that I noticed: you can tag out before the match starts. So you can tag out into your, I believe, the one character that you have unlocked at the start of the round. I think it... Does it reset? Hang on, I actually don't even know. Again, there's so many like little details to how the system works. I don't remember if it resets between... I don't think the assist gauge resets between rounds. I think the idea that they want is for you to build up a team so that by the end of the match, you are stronger. You are at your strongest and you have the most options available to you. There is DHCing, so you can like tag into supers and stuff like that. Funny enough, it costs a bar of assist gauge, which is weird that like no other game makes, because a couple other games have done like super tags, right, where you can do a super then tag into another character. None of them make that cost anything for some reason. I have to mention, I just absolutely, I mean, I said this, I believe I said this when the game first was revealed, but I absolutely love the style here. I think that the visuals make me so excited to play this game. I've been watching, there's this guy on YouTube who a couple years ago did breakdowns of all of the character designs including alternate costumes, in the Square Enix Crystal Dynamics Avengers game. And holy shit, how far we have come. That game might actually be the worst depiction of superhero characters I've ever seen. That game like, it's worse. You know, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is ugly as sin. But man, at least it understood heroic proportions and posing and stuff like that. All the Squavengers characters look god awful. Just the dullest, most unheroic looking schlubs I've ever seen. I can't believe that got through. What was I talking? Oh yeah, Tokon. The visual stylings of these characters, it's just so funny that I've been watching these back to back, because the Tokon characters have so much vibrancy, so much energy in them. The animations are great. The combos look really cool. There's some cool stuff where the game has a combo limit. The game has a little bar that fills up as you continue to hit the opponent, like the longer your combo gets. And when it maxes out, they get a forced flip out. But you can diminish that. You can hold that off with 2 ways. One, basically, is just by spending resources, is the long and short of it. If an assist call hits the opponent, it drains a portion of the combo limit. It goes down by like a third from the looks of it. And if you use, I don't know all of them, but I saw a couple instances where the EX specials didn't increase the combo limit bar at all. It doesn't budge at all. So the more resources you're willing to expend, or the more resources you can expend, the longer your combos are able to get, which is important because you only start off with 1 assist. There will probably be some routes where you are able to combo into all 3 of your assists and get like continuous resets of the combo limit. That stuff will probably be crazy, and that'll probably be found out at some point by people. And the more characters that we have. God, I just want more characters. I want to see new characters. I want to see their takes. I want to see their takes on new characters. I can't even say what... We have so few at this point that I can't see... I don't know what the trend overall is. I'm assuming they're going to have the core Avengers. They're going to have the more popular X-Men, most likely. I'm hoping that we get some Fantastic Four rep Beyond Doom. And some of my own personal pet characters. my personal favorites. Like a character I'm going to talk about in a oh, that was such a neat transition. That was such a neat transition, but there is a PS5 beta. Curses! Curses! A PS5 beta. In September. Curses! So... I'm assuming they're doing that because they don't want people to data mine and like crack the game, which is understandable. But curses,